Yeah, we can probably get going here. Um, Good morning, afternoon, evening. This is the weekly VOLTHA TST meeting. And thank you for joining this week. Let's see what we got here. So it looks like for announcements, we've got a new public calendar for the meeting. I haven't visited this yet, but I'm guessing Michelle probably added this. Is there anything of note since I can't navigate to it?
Yeah, is there a reason you can't navigate to it?
Well, it's probably because we're in the meeting right now. I wasn't able to pull it up. Oh, that's
Yep.
actually
Yeah,
scratch
so
that.
it's a new public calendar that LFX just launched. So you can actually click on the meeting and there has the register button and makes it a little bit easier for folks to join. So this is the place that folks, new folks looking to jump in on the project should go to add this to their calendar pretty easily.
Okay, cool.
Is that a link of the old calendar somewhere in the Volta docs? Joy, you know?
It's probably
The old calendar, Mahir, was just it was a Google Calendar that I created and then copied and pasted the registration link from LFX into it. So this does that all seamlessly, and it will update and make any changes that get made in the actual meeting instance that's in LFX versus like me having to go and modify the calendar every time.
Okay, got it. But what I mean is if we have the link for as a reference in somewhere in Volta docs, then we need to change the link.
Yeah, I don't, Joey, do you have
have the
the old
original.
Google Calendar link?
Yeah, I do.
I had created the Voltha public calendar for Google somewhere. I can delete that.
It
Joy,
might,
let me do this task. I can check the Volta docs if there's a calendar link somewhere and change it. Okay.
That'd be great. Thanks, Mahir.
I just posted the link I have in. Oh, actually, that may not. Yeah, actually, scratch that.
I'll leave the other one up. It's the same link. So if people get to it one way or the other, it's not the worst thing, but they just launched this. And so if we make any changes like canceling or moving a meeting, this new link is the one that it will be made on. So be good to phase that other one out as you find it.
Okay, let's see. So we've got another item on the agenda. So VPN discussion. So some background on this. When the project was hosted by ONF, uh, if you want to jump in here, Michelle, too, feel free. So the setup originally had a Jenkins server, the one we're running, and the conduit that connected to the lab over in Berlin passed through. We had space rented in core site, the the IT and the services provider. So we had some racks in core site, and the Ether project was also using some of the equipment in there. But the primary thing we were using through the lab is there's a VPN set up with Strong Swan, and all of the traffic that was going back and forth between the Jenkins server and the Berlin lab were passing through core site and from Jenkins to AWS to core site and then over to Berlin. So with part of the transition from ONF over to the Linux Foundation, we're migrating resources over to LF. And part of this, the intent was to decommission the core site lab. Let me see. So currently there's some expenses. We're still paying for lab space right now, and part of it is we have to go in and a lot of the setup is not documented right now, so we're gonna have to go in and figure out the routes and all of that fun stuff. Pull it out of core site, set up a VPN through AWS natively from California over to Berlin. And that's kind of the overview of it. So Michelle's adding notes right now. Part of the discussion that's coming up right now is the LF broadband governing board allocated, I think it was 3 months of of continuing to pay for the co-location to give time to work on the transition. That work still needs to happen. Let's see what else we have here.
So it basically comes down to this VPN issue needs to be solved some way, shape, or form. So Joey either needs some help to figure out how long it will take to resolve the VPN issue. And if you think it's going to take more than 30 days, then we need to petition the LF governing board to approve additional funds to be spent on the colo site, because Ether and P4 are not going to pay for it anymore. So the entirety of the cost will fall on the LF broadband project, which is running out of funds that have been allocated for that specific bucket. So if it's going to take longer than the 30 days notice that we're required to give to core site to close down that colo space, we need to ask for more money, essentially. And if you think it can be done in 30 days, then that should be fine. But then Joey will probably need some help to make that happen. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Does anybody
So-
have questions about this?
Yeah, what kind of help? I'm not sure if we can help on infrastructure issues, because they all require credentials to access that, etc. So which we don't have, and we shouldn't. So I don't know if we can really help with that, Joey. Probably you're on your own. So okay, let's think on that way. So if we cannot solve this in a month, or in 30 days, so what are we going to lose? We'll probably lose the hardware tests. Isn't it, Joey? I mean, this is what I understand from the
Yeah.
yesterday's meeting.
So if the colo goes away, we basically lose the conduit, the VPN connection between Jenkins in the outside world and the Berlin lab. So essentially, we can't run hardware tests anymore.
Okay, that's what we know currently.
Mhm.
There may be some other things that we are not aware. There's a little, very small risk there. That might be something that we don't know. We're not aware currently.
There are other servers in the co-location. A good share of them have been powered down. But if there are any peripheral dependencies, like if we were doing network lookups and they happen to be accessing services that were running in the co-location rather than say AWS, we're going to have a problem with that when they're shut down. I'm not sure if we're going to have an issue with that or not.
Okay. So if we cannot fix it, at least the VPN, then after a month, we will lose Berlin lab and tests in the Berlin lab until we can fix it. So how crucial is Berlin lab currently? I mean, if we cannot fix it and we need to tackle with it for another month, and we cannot run the hardware test for a month, say. Is that bearable or not? I'm actually asking this to TSD members, not to Joy.
Yeah, I think the current state of the hardware tests, I think, yeah. So, Avilash, are any of the hardware pipelines running for some of the tests that your team is doing?
Hardware tests here, no, not on this from the ONF, I mean LF
Okay.
on the hardware side. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference, but so okay, just to understand. So are we saying that okay, if we cannot fix it in 30 days, then we'll lose the conduit to the Berlin lab, and we cannot do anything on the Berlin lab, or let's say, yeah, through the VPN, and we lose those tests for the time being. But then, can we still continue working on fixing it? Because once we lose the core site lab, maybe we lose all the information regarding that, right?
Correct. We lose the configs.
Yeah, so after losing the configs, can we bring it back?
I'm sure we could. We'd have to, figure out how to figure out the setup, but I'm sure we could do it.
Okay. Yeah, so I think then I think at least that should be okay, right? So if say for another couple of weeks, or 15 days or 20 days, we still can't run the hardware tests. Yeah, I think that should be okay.
Okay, at least we can, bring this to the board's attention and say that, yes, this is the situation and we have 30 days. After 30 days, if you have fund, we are requesting more funds until we fix it. If you don't have, if you choose not to, spare some funds, then we will lose Berlin sites for a while until we fix it. This is the outcome.
Okay, so Mahir and Amit, if I understand what you're saying you want to take the board on Thursday and let them know that you'll do your best to resolve it within 30 days if they won't approve additional funds. But if they do approve additional funds, that ensures we don't lose those tests. And gives a little.
Yeah, we can bring it to take it to the board and ask them if,
Okay.
yeah, we may need more funds for this. After 30 days, we may need some more funds. And if they have fund.
So here's the problem with that. So
Yeah.
this decision actually has to be made this week because we have to, core site requires 30 days notice to turn off the colo in order to terminate. Board budget currently only has enough funds to last another month. So we can't wait and see if we can do it in 30 days because we're still beholden to an additional month if we don't give notice and we don't have funds to pay for that additional month or months, however long it takes.
Okay, then we will ask them to finalize, to come with a decision Thursday. Okay.
Okay. They might say, yes, we approve for an additional
budget. Yeah.
We'll give you an additional $3,000 to cover one more month, and that gives 60 days to figure this out, which is
Yeah.
Or they
Or-
might no, and just figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but either way, and we have a budget reforecast for the entire budget coming up in June. And so this is kind of a piece of that. Okay, so I think if we can use this, what normally is the TST update section at the board meetings on Thursday to cover this, does that work? Are you, Mahir and Amit, are you able to take the lead on that during the meeting on Thursday?
Yeah, sure. We can.
Okay. Okay,
Do
so
we
I
have
think,
anything else we need to cover on this? So just a refresher from last week, Sakant mentioned that we needed, some enhancements in BB-Sim to support, testing. That was just a refresher. Oops. Just an update for me this morning. Something's going on with the Jenkins server again. All of the nodes are showing as offline this morning. I cleared the queue out, and it's not a saturation problem, but I'm looking into this right now. If you see your job's not running or you're not getting status back, that's probably why. So follow up from last week, the transient problems that some of the transient test failures we've been seeing for like timeouts and end-to-end testing failures and all that fun stuff. I've been triaging some of the Garrett patches. Let's see some of the existing ones. I've been going in and finding the ones that have been showing signs of the reporting failures for those tests. These are the ones that are showing up quite a bit. They're in that patch grid I did before. There's some more data in here, but that still needs to be filled out. Basically, any tests that were affected by the transient failures have gone in and added the JIRA tickets into the commit messages, so at least they're a little bit more easier to see now. But there were end-to-end tests around BB-Sim Sanity, DT pod tests, TT pod tests. These were mostly ping failures. There was a timeout in VOLTHA Go controller. Avalash and I have been kind of picking at that one. And I'm digging into another problem with VOLTHA Protos that's timing out after 20 minutes. The VOLTHA Go controller, the problem seems to be manifesting in batch only. So far, profiling or building locally, doing code complexity checks, all of that fun stuff has all run within a reasonable amount of time. So the timeout failure seems to be only for jobs that are running in Jenkins. So we're going to have to keep picking at that one. And I've been trying to link the individual patches that are failing to these tickets, so you should be able to go into the ticket and find all the affected patches if you need to. And this is just some detail about the VOLTHA Go controller failure. 10-minute timeout during linting. What's strange is the tool we're using is Golang CI lint. And that's basically a threaded wrapper around a bunch of linting tools. It all runs in parallel. So the timeout that we're hitting is not a cumulative that we're running longer than 10 minutes. It's one of the individual syntax checks or the analysis for the code is running longer than 10 minutes, which is kind of strange. I don't know if we're blocked waiting on resources. There's some type of file IO blockage, but something's stretching it out past 10 minutes and we time out. For the VOLTHA Protos timeout, that's failing after the build runs for about 20 minutes. I've gone into the make files and added into the make file in the commands and added some instrumentation. The commands are running in verbose mode now. I think I mentioned that with a tox command earlier, so we can see one of the problems was the Python unit test suite. I've also added timestamps for all the commands that are being run by the makefile, so at least we'll have a boundary around each of the phases that we're running, so we can see individually how much each one of them are taking. Most of the patches are in. I've got one more patch to finish merging, but that patch is blocked on the Jenkins not running jobs this morning because the nodes are off in the weeds. So as soon as I can get that straightened out, these patches should go in and we can continue profiling the VOLTHA Protos repo. If anybody has any code review requests, there've been quite a few of them going on informally off to the site, but if anybody needs to request them, feel free to add them in. And fine, that's probably it. So I guess the floor is open for discussions if anybody has any topics they'd like to bring up.
I'll do some more digging on the VOLTHA Go controller failure. Looks like locally it works fine. Let me check, Joy. I'll do some more digging on that. Sure.
The one other thought I had for that, just the difference between running locally and within the build system. The Jenkins nodes may be running older compilers, an older version of the interpreter, an older version of Go. Maybe the version differences might be contributing to some of the behavior.
Okay.
So I guess are there any I can't talk today. Second call for anything that anybody would like to bring up? Okay, I guess with that, we can give you back, what is it, 30 minutes back out of your day then. Short meeting today. Okay, well, thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Joey. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.